Welcome back.
Hi.
Thanks for doing this for us.
Yeah, no problem.
You would just start out by telling us your name and what your specific exercise science focus is.
Okay.
And where you go to school.
All right. My name is Meghan McCauley.
Actually, can we start that over? Just give it a pause and then.
Okay. All right. My name is Meghan McCauley. I go to Appalachian State University. I'm a junior, and my major is exercise science pre-professional.
And tell me a little bit about your background. Where do you think the discovery that you wanted to get into this field started? If you could track it back to any time in your childhood, where would you say this all began for you?
This probably began like when I was just a little kid, and I lived on a street filled with boys, and we would all play outside and play games like through the afternoon into the evening, and it's like manhunt and capture the flag, football, like whatever you come up with, like races all the time. And I think that's what got me into sports, and so I started doing more and more sports ever since I was a kid, and then I really got into running. And I don't know, I'm like a big exercise person. Like I love it. I think it's great, and you know, this major just like fits everything that I love into it.
What do your parents do? Do you feel like you got an exercise science gene from somebody?
Well, my dad, he wrestled in college, and so like he's always been a big sports fanatic. Like he got me into watching, you know, NFL football, like baseball, basketball, like I watch it. And my mom, she's not really into sports, I guess. Like she does like kind of low-key stuff, like gardening, but I don't know. She was a big tomboy back in the day. Like she used to skateboard and stuff, so they have some exercise genes in them.
And what fascinates you most about your major?
I guess that I can apply it to everything that I do physically. Like if I'm ever running outside, like I know like, okay, so this is like what's up with my heart rate, and this is why it increases, why my blood pressure, increases. It's like all due to exercise, and I can really relate it to running specifically since that's what I do here. So it's just pretty unique.
Tell me about your experience at Appalachian State in the exercise science major.
Like what are you looking for? Like,
I guess, is there a project you've done in this major that you're particularly proud of that you'd like to share with us? What are you working on right now?
Well, nothing really in particular right now. I am like an undergrad student here, so we don't really do any big like testing or anything like that. But we have done some simple tests like VO2 max tests, and I've completed that, and that was pretty exciting just to see like, since it can measure out like what your endurance level is and your level of fitness, and it can change over time. So it's kind of interesting to see like how a specific altitude training or specific workout can influence your training and your levels of like oxygen intake.
What does the VO2 max test entail?
Well, it just measures out like how much oxygen that you can take in and take out, and that determines your level of fitness, I guess mostly for endurance exercises. And so it's really beneficial to, if you're training, like especially if you are, like a marathoner and like you are a pro marathon runner, like they'll do these VO2 max tests to determine like what type of training is beneficial to them and what's not. And the higher your VO2 max is, like the more oxygen that you're taking in, that's getting to your blood. So it's just better for endurance training and exercise.
And Meghan, what would you change about yourself, if you could, that would make you more successful in your major?
I'm not a resistance training person, and there are some tests that you have to participate in, such as like a 1 squat repetition max test, where it's like you squat as much as you possibly can, and just to see like how much your body can like take with that. And that kind of freaks me out. I don't know, I'm not much of a resistance training person.
Is that the same as like jump training?
Yeah, kind of. Like, they're all like the max jump tests and things like that. Yeah, they're all kind of measuring out the fast twitch muscle fibers and stuff, which I don't have any of. So it's pretty embarrassing sometimes. I can only jump like a foot if I'm lucky.
And what would you say is your guilty pleasure? How do you like to waste time? What do you like doing more than anything in the world?
That's a hard question.
There's running, of course.
Yeah, but that's a like love-hate. I don't know, I'd probably just say like hanging out with people like that are my friends and my family, I think is like the best way to do it. And yeah, like running is good, but I think even more would be hanging out with my teammates and just being with the people that do the same things that you do.
Now, I remember last time we spoke, I asked you about sort of a philosophy you live by, and you said something along the lines of never give up.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that that was tied to your running. Could you tell us a little bit about that again?
Yeah, definitely. This is going to sound really lame, but you know how the Dove chocolates have like little messages in them sometimes? Well, I opened it up and it said, test your limits and keep going. And that definitely portrays a lot to my life, especially when I was running in high school. And I told my dad, I was like, Dad, like I want to go to the state meet. Like, you know, you have to qualify for it. And I was like, I really want to go. And he was like, I don't know, like that's pretty hard to go to. And I was like, no, like I'm going to go. And so I just trained harder and I kept going. And eventually I made it as an individual to the state meet twice. And then I was like, yeah, Dad, like I want to run in college. And he was like, I don't know, like it's kind of hard. But now I'm running for Division I school. So definitely just keep trying, and especially with like school, like you can relate it to almost anything. Like don't give up just because somebody tells you that you can't do it.
One question I didn't ask you last time, do you see any conflicts within exercise science education and or the field? I know that's kind of a tough question, but you know, aside from like the economy not being great, you know,
Yeah.
are there any like common conflicts that come up a lot among exercise science students in terms of thinking about the future?
Yeah.
Thinking about the future of education, of exercise science.
Well, it definitely depends on your teachers. Like the teachers here are great. And so I would definitely say I guess one conflict could be like if you have a teacher that doesn't exactly like, for like anatomy, if you have a teacher that doesn't really teach you all the specific parts of the human body, like, I mean, that's like the basis of exercise science. Like everything relates to the human body. And if you don't know the basic parts of it, if you're not taught that properly, you know, and you don't learn it, then it's not really beneficial to your future in this career.
And finally, your favorite question. If you could choose any song that would be the main theme on the soundtrack of your life, what would it be?
I still don't know.
I remember you mentioned one last time.
Yeah.
Down to.
Yeah, the Missy Elliott, Lose Control. That's just been like my song since high school. But I guess like the other song would be Thrift Shop by Macklemore. I don't know. That's pretty typical, but I love it. It's a really good pump-up song, so we listen to that before races sometimes, so it's good.
That's all the questions we have.
All right.
Anything you have any other follow-up questions or anything?
I have a question. My name is Sheridan. I'll be doing some other interviews.
Okay.
I'm just leaving on this one. But as a student that you've already gone through classes and you've been, you know, in the department for a while, what's something that you would advise or instruct for a new student or new incomer to do differently or the same that you've done that has made you a successful student in this department?
Just be sure to direct the answer.
Yeah. So like you're asking like for advice, I guess, basically that I would give to future students.
Yeah.
Definitely plan out, I guess, like once you determine that this is your major, like plan it out, like course by course, semester by semester, because if you don't get all of the specific classes in like a certain time frame, there are like prerequisite courses that if you don't, take that first class, you aren't able to take, the next level. So definitely make sure that you get all of your prereqs in and try to get all the gen eds out of the way because we're gen eds. And I don't know. That's a hard question.
No, that was
You answered it well.
Hey,
Okay.
what is she planning to do with exercise science?
Okay. What are you planning to do with a degree in exercise science?
I definitely want to go to grad school. I'll probably end up taking 2 years off when I graduate because I want to go to PA school. And for PA school, you have to have a minimum of 2,000 hours hands-on clinical paid experience. So I don't really have that yet. Kind of want to be like for the next 2 years after I graduate, become an EMT and then get that hands-on experience and apply to grad school. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah.